Hey everybody, I'm Ben Higgins.
Hey, I'm Serena Pitt.
Hey, this is Blake Moynes.
Hi, this is Alana Milne.
Hey, I'm Lindsay Hamilton.
And you're watching the Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching the Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching the Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching the Bros Ceremony.
This is the Bros Ceremony.
Your journey's about to begin.
Recapping the week that was in Bachelor Nation and previewing what's to come in the next episode with some special betting odds.
Everyone can't wait to find out what happens next week.
Here are your hosts, Michael the Hound Dog Harrison and Adam Scully.
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Reunited, and it feels so good. Hello, and welcome back to the Bros Ceremony podcast. Adam Scully alongside Michael the Hound Dog Harrison. After a brief hiatus, we are back, baby.
Did we lose viewers already with that rendition of Reunited and It Feels So Good? I think we might have already lost people, unfortunately. We might now be at like -6 viewers, unfortunately.
I highly doubt that, Michael, but it's great to be back to all of our loyal listeners, followers, viewers. Thank you for sticking around. And we did take some time off because there wasn't any Bachelor episodes to speak about, but that all changes tonight because Katie Thurston's season gets underway later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC or wherever you watch The Bachelor in your local market. Michael, before we get to some news and notes, shall we call it, from Bachelor Nation in the time that we were gone, some initial thoughts on Katie.
Initial thoughts on Katie are, I love that her last name lends itself to an amazing pun that you can say about her, which is Katie is Thurston trapping everyone with some of these. Almost got you to spit out that drink. I've been reading online that these steamy promos that she's been doing, everyone is just going crazy over those or whatever. I personally have not seen them because the show me versus the actual online stuff. I think you are probably better at that than me. I don't really follow too much of the other stuff. I'm pretty much mostly just the show, but Thurston trapping everyone, Katie. I think I'm excited for this season. I think she's gonna be great.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. I was very high on Katie, not because of how she made her entrance into Matt James's season of The Bachelor, holding what she was holding, but she held her own, to make that sound kind of strange. She's a boss. She knows what she's worth. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen if some guys just aren't there for the right reasons. Is she going to call them out? How fast is she going to call them out? When are we going to hear the first vulnerable term? What's going to happen? Who's going to get the first impression rose? There's so much excitement inside me right now, Michael. And I think Katie's going to be brilliant.
And you said that she brought in whatever she brought in. You didn't actually explain that. For someone who didn't see the last season of the Bachelor with Matt James, she brought in a vibrator. And instantly a lot of the women were like, is she serious? And I think a lot of viewers were under the impression, not me, however, because if the memory serves right, I actually called her as being a great character for the season. I think a lot of people just thought, oh, she's just a ridiculous character and she's going to be gone within an episode or two. Initially, I'm almost certain Bachelor Nation did not like Katie because of that. They're like, oh, she's not serious. She's not vulnerable. She's not in it for the right reasons, all this stuff. Quick 180, not 360, by the way. Oftentimes people will say someone's at a complete 360. No, you don't do. If you're doing the opposite, you do a 180, not a 360. I digress. But yes, initially she did the 180, and I think Bachelor Nation loved her. And of course, she authored up one of the awesome all-time comebacks to one of the women. What was her name? Serena, I want to say, who was chirping her about whatever she was saying with Matt. She goes, "Thank you for your feedback," was what Katie said, and that was I think that's when Bachelor Nation fell in love with her.
I agree. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens, and you mentioned something there that really stuck out to me was vulnerability. And speaking of vulnerability, Tayshia and Caitlin are co-hosting this season that Katie is the Bachelorette for. Of course, Chris Harrison not involved in this season, as we know. I believe that's according to my sources, I should say. He's not a part of the season, but What are your thoughts on Vulnerable and Tasha and Caitlin? Caitlin Bristow, by the way, engaged to Jason. Jason was on a previous season a couple of years ago, and they found love. Caitlin, of course, originally from the Vancouver, Victoria neck of the woods. I'm curious, the two host dynamic. What do you think about that?
I just hope that one of the two of them, or maybe even both of them, they better do this. Because I remember, if memory serves me right, who came in? Was it Caitlin last season that came in to guest host for a few episodes? It wasn't Caitlin.
No, it was JoJo.
JoJo. She didn't say, gentlemen, ladies, this is the final roast tonight. Which was very, very rattling because as we know, that's Chris Harrison. That's what he does. For no reason at all. He says that makes no sense. Like absolutely does not need to be said. We see one rose there on the thing. We know there's only one rose left. So if they do not say that, I will feel ripped off as a viewer because I'm sure if people are at home playing the Bachelor drinking game, that's probably one of the things that whenever it happens, they have a drink of wine, There you go. And also, by the way, I also, speaking of watching or seeing stuff online, I'm seeing everyone going Cocoa Puffs or Goo Goo for Cocoa. I don't know what the hell the expression is.
Cocoa Puffs, is that what you just said?
Yeah, something like that.
I believe it's Goo Goo Gaga.
Goo Goo Gaga, Goo Goo for Cocoa, something with Cocoa Puffs. I swear to God there is. About Queen Victoria's makeover. Everyone is loving that. It's like, holy, she looks totally different and looks amazing and blah, 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 blah. I am counting down the days to when Queen Victoria is on Bachelor in Paradise because clearly, absolutely, even if she's dating someone, she's going to say she's not dating someone. Whoa.
Wow.
Is that a live look at you reacting?
I had not seen it. I was waiting to do things off the cuff.
There you go.
You can almost call this season 2. Is this season 2 of the Bros ceremony? Is this what we're? Yeah,
it's not season 13.
Volume 2, if you will.
It's not season 13. So yes, I would say it's season 2. Yes. Good call.
In any case, yeah, I had not seen these makeover photos of Queen Victoria. And as our loyal listeners and viewers from coast to coast around the world know that we reached out to Victoria to come join us on the Bros Ceremony podcast, and we did not hear back.
Promptly denied, eh?
Promptly denied. Adam. Promptly denied. But a big storyline, of course, from last season was Matt James. And he was the man we were focusing on. He was the man everyone was chasing, trying to find his heart. And the way last season ended, off the cuff at least, there was, Matt and Rachel, it seemed like they didn't really have a chance. There was obviously a lot going on. But recently, Michael, on Instagram and social media platforms, it appeared they are back together. They are giving this a go.
I think I was wondering that at the end of the season, if they were just sort of letting the dust settle for a few months and then they would actually go back to hopefully, dating. And yeah, it definitely seems like I believe. I mean, again, I oftentimes don't follow a lot of their stuff online. I'm quite bad for that. Although I have given you a couple of juicy nuggets here so far for the show. I mean, I do follow enough because we talk about these things on the show, of course. But yeah, so I normally I wouldn't know the love lives of these people 3-4 years down the road after finishing the seasons. But yeah, they're together, and it seems like they're giving it a go, and they're they're vulnerable, I guess.
I did see a clip on social media where Matt was talking about how little sleep he gets, where he sets alarms throughout the evening. I know, first of all, I know you asked me for this information, and I know this is crucial information for our viewing audience to know. But and this is strange. I mean, you and I, we both like our sleep. But this is a guy who sets alarms starting at 2 a.m. every 15 or 20 minutes. And he sets these alarms and thinks, I have 3.5 more hours. I have 3 more hours. And apparently this drives Rachel bonkers.
Well, no,
of course it does.
Yeah. By the way, you said we both love our sleep. I actually golfed this last weekend on 1 hour sleep. So it's not a big deal. Don't need sleep at all, especially to go golfing. So that's just a big brag there. Not a big deal. But why the heck would he do that? I saw you sent me that video and I watched about 15 seconds of it. He was talking about the time frame for how long he does stuff or whatever. And he said like, oh yeah, I haven't done this in 12 hours. And it was actually like 17 hours. Like his hours were way off. I was like, how are you? Oh boy. Like his math was not so good on that one.
Not a great math guy, Matt James. As well, another breakup, unfortunately, in Bachelor Nation, Peter Weber and Kelly Flanagan, I believe her last name is.
Yes.
They cut ties, and it didn't look like it ended well too. Kelly was on a couple of different podcasts and basically, didn't have the nicest of things to say to Peter. Peter looks exactly like our good friend Patrick Forbes. I truly and honestly believe that from the bottom of my heart. But
thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome. And but that was also a unique story. I'm not sure if you remember, but before Peter became the Bachelor, they met at a wedding. And they hit it off. I don't think they exchanged telephone numbers. They didn't kiss, but they stayed in touch. And it was just ironic enough how Peter went through his season. He was chastised by the social media world. Good word. And then came back, and here's Kelly coming in. They dated for throughout quarantine and upwards ish of a year, and it just didn't work out. You hate to see that.
I love how vulnerable. I was going to say how naive you were, but I'm so used to saying the word vulnerable, I accidentally said there. I love how naive you were. Yes, they met at a wedding and they didn't exchange phone numbers. They didn't know each other at all before she happened to randomly be on the Bachelor season. They had never talked at all since that wedding night till then. Okay, yeah, clearly they probably talked every single day leading up to that show. So. But I love, of course, as it is every season, they're like, oh my God, what a shocker to see you on the show. So I think we should get into the guys who will be on the season for Katie here. Obviously, there's going to be how many men I'm assuming 30 plus gentlemen suitors for her heart.
Michael, I'm glad you asked this question. So it all gets underway tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Katie Thurston is the Bachelorette. And as the website says, there are 29 men and someone in some sort of mystery box or magic box. Rumors online of who that potentially could be. I'll leave that to you, our audience, to maybe figure that out. Maybe we'll figure it out in episode 1. I truly have no idea. But Michael, looking at the cast, there's some personally, I didn't see anyone who right away stood out as the villain or, right, the annoying guy. It seems like a lot of good dudes.
Absolutely. And follow me here with the random box person. I had a theory I was trying to think outside the box on this one. Whoa, geez. Okay, so
that was close. That was legitimately very close.
So the random box. So we don't know who the person is. It's a box, a question mark, a box. I think the person, the random gentleman suitor, is a boxer. Continue to follow me here. I think for some reason on this show this season is going to be boxer Mike Tyson is going to be on this season of The Bachelor. What do you think, Bachelorette?
I mean, if they want ratings, other than Larry David, I don't know, like that'd be incredible.
Well, there you go. I'm pretty sure I would be willing to lay a substantial wager that it's not Mike Tyson on the show. But that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, there's you said 29 men that we do know their profiles of, and I wrote down a few things, and I know you did as well.
I did
some of the highlights of some of the guys, and I agree. There's not a lot of guys where you're like, holy crap! Like I was expecting to have write a tidbit about all of these men. I'm like we were gonna have a whole episode of like 17 hours, like the last time we previewed the last season. We went over through all the people, and we had about like
90 minutes.
Yeah, that was a beefy episode. So this one it won't be quite so long.
That's for sure. It won't be as long. So we'll discuss some of the men. And Michael, I know in particular, you had a couple of guys off the top. How about, first of all, you give the Coles notes for three guys. How's that?
Okay. That's I'll go from alphabetical order because it was that's the way I wrote it down for the first three guys here.
And
Andrew M.
I must preamble as well. We did not speak to each other about the men that we decided to write down. So I'm very curious where you go with your men.
And I also wrote down the notes a couple of days ago in highly anticipating this episode of the Bros Ceremony season 2 premiere. But I have not looked at those notes at all in 2 days. So even though it is something I wrote down, it's somewhat new to me because I haven't seen it in a while. So Andrew M. Attorney, I wrote, he loves bonfires on the beach. Now he just needs someone to snuggle up with by that fire. I thought that was an absolute cheesy line. I thought it was excellent.
Okay, yeah.
And when I read this, I don't know why I hit my funny bone. He loves to sample men's fragrances from magazine inserts. I don't know why. That just sounded really, really funny to me. What do you think?
Do they even do that anymore? Like, is that, I know that was a thing, I can't remember the last time I actually did it. I've bought my cologne. This is a huge never asked. I bought my cologne from a store when we could go to stores, hopefully, we can start doing that soon.
You bought a cologne from a store.
Well, you can get it online. You could do that too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Andrew S., a football player, the next guy, not afraid to make a grand romantic gesture, and he has no problem driving. Okay, yeah. He has no problem driving for hours just to hand deliver lunch and fresh flowers to that special woman. Have you driven hours just to hand deliver anything to anybody special in your life? Could be anybody. Have you ever done that?
I've driven a couple hours potentially to see someone special, but if you drive a couple hours, the lunch isn't going to be fresh. The flowers aren't going to be fresh.
Wow.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Feels like a Seinfeld episode right now. Good call. Is that what you had written down as well?
No, you know what, Michael? During the time we've had the bros ceremony, we've had a couple of the Canadians on our show. And from my note taking, I only saw there was one Canadian.
And I was going to say this guy as well. So we were both on the same page, but go ahead. I'd love to know your thoughts on this Canadian guy, Brendan.
Yeah, Brendan, 26 from Toronto. So potentially, we know him. He likes to live life to the fullest, becoming a full-time firefighter. So, there's going to be some sort of remark about firefighters and how firefighters are always good looking and the calendars, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, Brendan is not a good dancer, but that doesn't stop him from tearing up the dance floor. That is reminiscent of a current day Michael the Hound Dog Harrison.
Of course, and as I was trying to say, all the seasons blend together, of course, is what I was trying to say. Yes, that's exactly the note that I wrote down, tearing up the dance floor. So absolutely no way, shape, or form in any way will I ever dance. And I've been at many, many weddings, brag, and people are like, come on, man, dance. And I'm like, no. I need to get some spinach in me. Just give me some time. I need to get a little bit of liquid courage.
Did you say spinach in you?
Yeah, spinach. Not actually spinach. That's
I've
my
never heard that expression before.
Well, that's obviously liquid courage is what I'm trying to say. And then it makes me strong. And then all of a sudden, it's a light switch goes off, and I'm like, oh baby. And then I'm the one leading the dance floor and going crazy. And I think, of course, I'm the best. I'm sure I'm absolutely wretched. But before that, it's like not a chance in hell will I be dancing. I don't know how anyone does that without feeling completely self-conscious that everyone's looking at them. That's why I feel I have to get enough spinach in me. Then I just don't even care. My inhibitions, as it were, are lowered. And then I'm like, let's go, baby.
That's Brendan from Toronto, Ontario. Also hoping to take the love of his life swimming with sharks. Brendan seems like a very interesting cat. I wonder if anyone we know has come across Brendan before from Toronto, Ontario. I guess, Michael, we shall see. Any other men top of mind? Who are you thinking? Give us two or three.
I'm going to call my shot here, by the way. We're going to have Brendan eventually on this season of the bro ceremony.
I like that.
I'm going to say we're going to have him on. He's probably, I'm going to say, statistically speaking, of course, he's obviously not going to win in terms of the odds if you're to place odds on it, just because, there's going to be at least 30 men. So I'm going to say he's going to be on the bro ceremony. I'm calling my shot that he's going to be on.
I like it.
So there's a guy named Connor B, not Connor Brown, the hockey player.
Oh,
math teacher. This is his thing. He claims he can eat cereal faster than anyone. That's quite the claim to fame.
That's a very unique skill.
I mean, there's a few things on a lot of these profiles that I'm just like, okay. Then for Connor C., a former baseball player, they love their athletes on the show, by the way. Connor C. and Matthew McConaughey share birthdays. I love this little anecdote because it's like, okay, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like, that doesn't tell you anything about Connor C. Okay, he happens to randomly share the same birthday as someone else. Whoop-de-doo, big deal. Very, very strange. Then there's another guy, Josh, IT consultant. Starts selling. Okay, this guy sounds like he's probably a monster. Starts celebrating Christmas in October.
Now,
do you celebrate Christmas in October?
I don't, but some people talk about once Halloween passed, then you can start hanging up. I'm like, come on, like Christmas music playing November 1. No, Christmas music playing maybe after November 25th, maybe after American Thanksgiving. I say that's pretty good, but I mean, October, what?
Yeah. I'm disappointed that we have the same or of the same opinion on that one, Adam. I was hoping to fight you and have a huge blowout argument with you, but I absolutely concur. Christmas music right after Halloween or even before Halloween, no. So you're celebrating in October. What are you doing, man? That's just
I wholeheartely agree with that.
Yikes. There's Landon, a basketball coach. Again, the athlete themes here. His nickname is Sunshine, and he's a proud and loyal believer. Are you a proud and loyal Justin Belieber?
Yes, absolutely. I think Justin Bieber's great. Spoiler alert, he also was in the Friends reunion, which I thought was excellent, by the way.
Wow.
That's a
Thank you
whole
for
topic.
actually following the spoiler alert without giving any time for the spoiler alert. You said it within 1 second. That's not really a spoiler alert then, Adam.
There was no pause involved in said spoiler alert. But I would you say you're a believer?
To be honest with you, I obviously have heard the songs. I couldn't even name. Oh, baby, baby, baby. That's one of his songs, right? I think.
I believe it's just called Baby, but yes.
Yeah. I obviously have heard several of them, but actually be able to name them, I have no idea. But yeah, why don't you do your own rendition of that, or will we get sued if you do your own song on that?
I think we better stay away just in case of getting close to the line of just sounding so good.
Well, of course, obviously.
Right.
There's, three more guys that I'd written something down.
Yeah.
Marcus, real estate agent, describes himself as a lover. He's amazing. He says he fears a world where soap doesn't exist.
That's unique. I don't understand. I mean, COVID, I guess, sure, but where soap doesn't exist.
How do you fear that? Okay, cool. Marty's a dancer in Reno, Nevada. Explicitly prefers to watch movies indoors. I wrote that down because I thought that was interesting. So are there people who explicitly watch movies outdoors?
I guess for drive-ins, maybe, perhaps, that sort of thing. But
I would think if you're going to make the comment, if you're going to make a comment about watching movies, I would think you're saying it if you explicitly would watch it outdoors, because that would be unique, right? I would say most people watch it indoors versus outdoors.
Right.
So to say that you prefer to watch it indoors, that's not unique at all. That's the norm. So why is that even on his profile is what I'm saying. I need to be the one to write their profiles in a roundabout way is what I'm trying to say, Adam.
I mean, after everyone sees this episode in particular, I think we're heading into next season with Michelle. Instead of these little bios, it's going to be interviews with the bro ceremony. And they're going to be 90 seconds to 2 minutes, just sort of rapid fire questions. I mean, it's a win-win-win situation.
I couldn't agree more. And last one, Mike is a gym owner. Again, former athlete. He says he was was on a successful Major League Baseball run. That was one of their big things in the profile. I looked him up. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. How maybe I missed him. Like maybe he only had a cup of coffee in Major League Baseball, because again, they said a successful Major League Baseball run. I looked up his stats. He never made a higher than rookie A ball. So, which for those who aren't familiar with baseball is like 4 or 5 rungs lower than Major League Baseball. Rookie A ball. So it's still impressive. Don't get me wrong. But to say that you had a successful, not just an unsuccessful, a successful Major League Baseball run, and then you're like 4 or 5 rungs below Major League Baseball, he's kind of lying. So I don't know if he's the one for Katie is what I'm trying to say, because maybe he will lie and she'll find out about it and then she'll send him packing.
I mean, maybe he's not in it for the right reasons. I mean, that's something off the cuff that you have to think about. I mean, for me, I'm happy you mentioned names that I didn't think of or didn't write down myself. So this is excellent. For me, Christian, real estate agent from Boston, sees romance and everything, dreams of driving the Batmobile one day, which is kind of strange for someone in their mid-20s. In his younger days, Christian rocked a faux hawk. Done that as well. I mean, faux hawk, it's a pretty fashionable thing, in my opinion. And something that's a little interesting. Christian loves parades. Don't let his smile fool you. He's competitive and has fought in mixed martial arts bouts, but he loves parades. Do you love parades, Michael?
I can't.
Have you ever thought about loving parades? Because I definitely have not.
I haven't gone to like any parade ever since like a Santa Claus parade, maybe in grade 5 or something like that. Maybe
well, no, you were at the Toronto Raptors parade when they won, were you not?
Of course, absolutely. And also, I live by Church Street, and not the last couple of years, Gay Pride Parade. Actually, I have walked by that, and that's a scene. That's amazing. Actually, it's incredible. There's so many people. That's a lot of fun. But generally speaking, parades not really something I would normally go to. Yeah, what kind of parades is he go? Is he a Boston? Did you say he's from Boston?
From Boston. He also is involved with mixed martial arts.
That's it, Boston. He's used to all these parades from the New England Patriots winning all the Super Bowls. you know, the Boston Bruins, the Boston Red Sox. So he's just used to his teams winning probably. And that's why he goes to those. That's definitely what it is. 100%.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Last but not least for me, I wrote down Kyle. Steve Irwin is Kyle's lifelong idol. That's an interesting one. His favorite flower is an orchid. Michael, what's your favorite flower?
Oh, God, wow. Let's go with a daisy.
I love a good rose. I love a good rose.
Oh,
rose.
I have let you
ceremony. It was. Just
I have let you, and I've let this entire podcast universe who were watching us down by not saying a rose. The whole premise of the show has roses, and I didn't even say rose. I'm you and everyone down. I sincerely apologize.
I'm wholeheartedly disappointed with what you just said there. But Kyle, he's a technical recruiter. He's from Florida. And Michael, he is here for the real deal. He is looking for the princess to his Prince Charming. And fingers crossed, it's all fireworks when he meets the Bachelorette. Over under 1.5 episodes when we see fireworks.
1.5 episodes of the fireworks in the background, of course, them making out. Of course. I'm gonna go for it. He's the first guy to kiss her. This Kyle guy. Boom, bango, and then said fireworks will be playing in the background. What do you think about that? Also, grow the faux hawk back. By the way, you said that earlier. You have to grow that again. By the way,
I could do it right now if you want. I mean, there's a lot of product in here, so I couldn't do it right at this very instant. But maybe for an episode, I'll do it.
You just finished saying I could do it right now, and then you just said 2 seconds later I couldn't actually do it right now. So
that's what we call a classic backtrack.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna say this Kyle guy, first kiss, fireworks playing in the background, boom, lock it up.
Lock it up, lock it down. We'll have betting odds throughout this second season of the Bros Ceremony, episode 17 overall of the Bros Ceremony. We'll have to discuss the verbiage of how we want to actually, what we want to call this. Is it episode 17? Is it episode 1 of season 2? We'll have to discuss this in our many hours of pre-show meetings and rehearsals, because we always rehearse before each and every episode. But Michael, it all gets underway tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. Katie Thurston is your Bachelorette. I know we discussed it a little earlier, but let's bring it up one more time. Expectations for Katie this season.
As I said off the top, my expectation is Katie's gonna be Thurston trapping everyone. I can't get enough of that. That's just that's so good. I mean, when I thought of it, I'm like, okay, you can't not say it anymore. Honestly, I expect her to be a straight shooter as she was in the last season, which a lot of the viewers loved. The women, some of them didn't seem to like her for that because she actually called them out on their crap, which was really good because a lot of them were bullies, like straight up bullies last season.
Yeah, that's right.
More than I can even remember of a season, which was so weird because now we're later years. Like you would have thought there'd been more bullying. And I'm sure there was. It's just, as I said, the seasons blend together. So maybe I've forgotten, but it seemed like last season was the worst. You would have thought you would have
100% it was.
Maybe it would have been 10 years ago. You would have seen that. So that was weird, but I honestly think she's going to be really good, really, really good. And I'm not sure if I saw this. This isn't a spoiler in terms of what we're going to see in the show at all. I think I read somewhere that they wrapped up the filming of the season early.
Oh, that's right. I did read that as well.
So maybe it's another situation of, Claire found love quickly with what was his name again?
Dale. That happened. And it also happened with Colton as well, who we did not mention off the top. And that was a very significant news for Colton to come out. And apparently there's some sort of Netflix series as well that's going to be following Colton. So looking forward to seeing what comes out of that.
Absolutely. And looking forward to seeing what comes out of this season. I think it's going to be a really, really good one. I'm pretty excited about it.
Now, Michael, we'd make predictions, but what I think we should do this season is wait till after the first episode. Wait till we have our feet wet a little bit, see what kind of chemistry these men have with Katie, see how they're vibing, see what's happening within the house, see if there's any drama early on. And then next week, as we preview the second episode of The Bachelorette and season 2 of the Bros Ceremony, then we'll each pick 3 men to go all the way and win Katie's heart.
And perhaps we'll have to go in that bachelor pool that we were both wretched at last year. I keep getting emails about that, by the way.
I just got one earlier as well. Yes, this is big.
Perhaps we'll go into that for tonight's episode. And, I'm assuming the grand prize for whoever wins the season is like $10 million probably. So
$10 million. Have to give a special shout out to Kelly as well. Just welcomed a child into the world recently within the last 3 weeks, or I believe. So congratulations, Kelly. She sets up the pool. I believe Kelly or her sister won. I came
That's
very close to last. So, I mean, there might have been some collusion involved there. I mean, that's not really for me to say. That's not for you to say, but it's possible.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we were absolutely horrible last year, and as we said during the season last year, we absolutely proved that we do not have any extra info. We absolutely could see spoilers, like from Reality Steve. He has all the spoilers. We could, but it's like no, I don't want to be spoiled. I hate that so much. So we definitely proved that we do not have any inside information in terms of spoilers on that. So
now, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I picked Rachel last season.
You absolutely did, because I said she looked like Mila Kunis. That was my celebrity lookalike counterpart for her, and you were correct. So I guess I owe you. You know what? I owe you what the bro ceremony mug. Oh, wait a minute, you already got it. Nice.
Oh, cheers to that. Well, in that case, I mean, we'll see what happens in this season. But like I mentioned, it all gets underway tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to seeing what's to come. Michael, before we sign off here on our return to the bro ceremony, of course, you are the host of the H Dog Pod, where you discuss sports, reality TV, betting, life, dating, the works. Tell us about your latest guest.
So yeah, last two, both workers at TSN, Chris Amberley. We talk all things about Phil Mickelson being the oldest major golf champion ever. And then he's a big Green Bay Packer fan. So we talked about him being rattled that Aaron Rodgers might lead the team. Really fun interview. And then we had Tony Ambrosio, veteran of sports broadcaster for like 30 plus years. And that interview was absolutely fantastic.
Of course it was.
So good. His stories were amazing. And he told a story on the H Dog Pod about Jaromir Jagr. The first time he happened to see him when he was in the locker room interviewing him, that he was quite surprised with Jaromir Jagr's. He's got a big nose, to put it that way. So I was howling laughing. The story was absolutely amazing, and Ambrosio was great. So yeah, that's the H Dog Pod. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts.
Well, to find out this burning question about Jaromir Jagr, you can find the H Dog Pod on iTunes or anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Well, Michael, great to be back. Looking forward to the season. Another season together doing the bros ceremony. Looking forward to recapping Katie and what happens each week. We'll be back again next Monday to recap the week that was and look ahead to that night's episode. For Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, I'm Adam Scully. We'll see you next time right here on the Bros Ceremony.